Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Alexa, connect my phone. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna. Haribol Prabhuji, you can hear us, so.
Hare Krishna, yes, Prabhu.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. So, we are happy to welcome all the devotees for our Sunday, our Bhakti Vriksha sessions. And we're really looking forward always to meet all the devotees. And today we have a special speaker, Shyam Vallabhi Mataji. She is connected to our movement for more than 2 decades. She is practicing very sincerely. Some of you might be knowing, even for our Gita course also, she was helping some devotees. And also her husband, Kuntal Prabhu, is actively involved in our Radha Gopinath Bhakti Vriksha. And Mataji is a doctor. She is a physiotherapist by profession with a specialization in cardiovascular, some details. She has pursued her PhD in the same subject from UK, from University of Leeds. So that's how she really intensified her devotional service. And all her family members are also very strong in this bhakti. And Mataji is also specialized in especially this Garbhadhana Sanskar and how to bring up the children from the womb. So we are very grateful to Mataji for coming today and to spend time with us. And today she will be speaking more on the subject of how to take shelter of the holy name. Yes, we do chant. Well, most of us, we have already started chanting the holy name. But what is the difference between chanting the holy name and how to take shelter of the holy name? So Mataji has already conducted so many sessions on the holy name, and she has agreed to spend some time with us today. So I would request Mataji to enlighten us and educate us on this process. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, and Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, and thank you all of you to have me here. Although I am not a very advanced devotee, today I would like to share a few things that I have understood by the mercy of my Guru, Srila Prabhupada, and by the mercy of Shishi Gauranitai. So we'll begin with the prayers. Om Agyanti Vedantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam. Vande Ham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavascha. Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam. Sadvaitam Sadvadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam. Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripri. Vancha Kalpataru Bhasya Kripasandu Cha Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. So, as Prabhuji mentioned, we'll be talking about taking shelter of holy name today. So let's begin with something that you've already learned and understood in your classes and your course till now. So we all know that we are not these bodies. We are spirit souls. But however, we have accepted this material body, and therefore we are in this material world. And being in this material world, we are getting influenced by this material nature. And this material nature and this material world is full of suffering. I don't have to actually explain this point that this material world is full of suffering, because all of you will agree to this point that this material world is full of suffering. And we have also learned that, we are actually spirit souls. We are part and parcels of Krishna, and we belong to the spiritual world. Now, some of the living entities, they are not bothered with these sufferings, meaning they just don't, they're so conditioned to these suffering that they just feel it's okay to suffer. It is a part of life, and they feel that it's okay to suffer. Some living entities, they don't realize only that they are suffering. They're so much engrossed in this material world and this material energy that they just don't realize that they are suffering. But some living entities who are really wise and very intelligent, they can understand that no, I am not meant to be here in this material world, but I am part and parcel of Lord, and I have to be in the spiritual world because I'm a spirit soul. Now, the problem is, if you want to get connected to Krishna back, there is a little bit of problem. And that problem is that because we are in this material world and Krishna is in spiritual world, Krishna is completely spiritual in nature. His names, his qualities, everything is spiritual. Whereas we are in this material world and we are entrapped in this material bodies. Now, how can we get connected to the spiritual supreme Krishna when we are ourselves entrapped in something in a material body? And how can we get connected to Krishna by using these material senses? How can we perceive that supreme spiritual personality by having these material senses? It is not possible, because our material senses, they will not allow us to perceive this spiritual personality. So Krishna realizes this problem. He knows that, there will be some souls who would want to get back to him, get back connected to him, go back to him. But then this problem he realizes. And therefore, you see, Krishna has very mercifully manifested in this material world in the form in which we can perceive him, we can get connected to him by using our material senses. Okay, so that's why this and how does he actually gets, how does he manifest in this material world so that we can perceive him? He manifests in the form of holy name. Now, holy name is nothing but the spiritual sound vibration. It's the names of Krishna. So what Krishna does is that he manifests as this holy name, the sound vibration. And this sound vibration, although this sound vibration is spiritual in nature, okay, it is non-different from Krishna, because Krishna is spiritual, his names are also spiritual. And because Krishna and the holy name are non-different, they're spiritual, he actually makes it easy for us to perceive him through this sound vibration. Now, you may say that, if the sound vibrations are spiritual, then how can we perceive it with our material senses? You may say that. So the thing is that Krishna is so merciful that he actually gives us this holy name, which is completely spiritual, and he makes it, available to us through our material senses. It is the mercy of Krishna that we are able to, approach him, to perceive him in his holy name form by using our material bodies, by using our material senses. So this spiritual sound vibration, which is non-different from Krishna, because it is also spiritual, it has a lot of potency. It is very powerful. And this spiritual sound vibration of holy names, it actually cleanses all the material contamination that is covering our soul and not letting the soul get connected to Krishna. So it gradually starts, cleansing our consciousness, our heart, and gradually it enables us to connect back to Krishna, to get connected to Krishna. And it also, because this holy name and Krishna are non-different, this holy name is so powerful that it can give us protection. Can give us protection in any circumstance and give us protection from any problems. Because Krishna is so powerful that he can protect us, So holy name is also power because it is non-different from Krishna. So therefore, the point is that if we want to get connected to Krishna, and if we really want to take shelter of Krishna, then the best way to take shelter of Krishna is to take shelter of his holy name, because he is very easily available by his holy names, through his holy names. And it is very easy for us to get connected to him, because we are also, entrapped in this material bodies, and this material senses can easily perceive this spiritual sound vibration, this form of Krishna. Therefore, we need to take shelter of Krishna, and the best way to take shelter of Krishna is to take shelter by taking shelter through his holy name. Now the question comes that what is the right time, or which is the right time in our life that we can start taking shelter of this holy name, or we can start chanting holy name. So any thoughts on that? Any one participant or any one devotee can just unmute and say, what do you think is the right time in your life to take?
Brahma Muhurta time.
I'm not asking about the time of the day. I'm talking about, yes, this Mataji is saying, Hemu. This is, I think, Prabhuji. So Prabhuji is saying as soon as possible. So I was asking that what is the right time in your life? Is it today, or after 50 years, or after 60 years? What is
the moment one is born in the thing, immediately.
Yes.
From the childhood itself.
Yes, very right. So the point is that as soon as possible. In fact, our scriptures also say that, when a child becomes 5 years old, he can start chanting. So generally, but for right now, we'll say that, it is as soon as possible, as soon as we realize the importance. Yes, that's also right. So as soon as possible, we need to take shelter of these holy names. And why do we need to take shelter of this holy name as soon as possible? So we'll kind of try to figure out, we'll try to discuss 4 points on this point, on this particular discussion, that, why we should take it as soon as possible. But the first point is that, sometimes people say that, right now I am very busy, my job is very demanding. Let me change a job, and then, I get a little better job, and then I'll start chanting. Or, some Matajis may say, lockdown is going on, children at home. Let the schools reopen, then I'll have some time to chant and I'll start chanting. So sometimes, people tend to postpone their chanting just because they're waiting for the favorable time in their life to come to take up to chanting. But then we should understand that there is no favorable time in our life to start it, because we are in this material world, and this material world is full of challenges. So today, if we have one challenge, tomorrow again, we are going to have another challenge. So the time will never be favorable and never be very peaceful and very nice and goody-goody, so that we can start chanting our Hare Krishna Mahamantra from that point. So therefore, rather than delaying and postponing, we should really, start taking. Time needs to be managed. Yes, that's right. Okay, right. So there are some comments over there. So I just got to think. Okay, fine. So that's the reason why we need to start chanting immediately, because there will never be a time which you think will be the most suitable time for you to kind of start this chanting. That's the first point. Now, the second point is that in this material world, we are here and we are actually getting the reactions of all our past karmas. So we have so many different circumstances, so many different challenges that we need to face in our lives. And it is very difficult, in these days to actually to kind of stand there and face all these circumstances. So many different problems, so many different sufferings are there. And if we do not know how to handle these sufferings, then we land up in some, with some mental disorder. Like there are so many people with depression nowadays, anxiety, suicide, and, sometimes people take to wrong path because they are not able to handle a particular situation or a challenge in their life. So therefore, this material world, we will always be faced with so many different sufferings and so many different challenges. And if we don't know to handle them well, if we don't have strength to face them, then we are going to break down. Now, this chanting of the holy name, is going to give us strength in these difficult times and these circumstances when we need to really face them properly. Because holy name is Krishna only. And as I mentioned, Krishna has potency and power to give protection in any circumstance. So holy name, being non-different from Krishna, also is powerful and can give, us protection in any circumstance and give us strength to face that particular challenge. Now, that does not mean that, once you start chanting, then you will not have any problems in life. That is not the point. The point is that the problems will come, but maybe because you are strong enough by taking shelter of the holy name, we become strong. And because we become strong enough, we are able to face these challenges in a very strong way. And these problems do not affect us to the degree that, or to the intensity that they would affect us if we would not take shelter of the holy name and take shelter of Krishna ultimately. So that's the second reason that, we need to be prepared for any challenge that comes in our life, and get to be prepared to, take any reactions of our karma. So that's the second reason. The third reason that why we need to start chanting immediately or as soon as possible. You see, the time is very less. We don't know when our time will come to give up this body. So, if we are not prepared to face this final examination of death, then there is a danger that we may again fall down to lower species. And this has happened, in Bhagavatam, we have a very nice example of Bharat Maharaj, who was king, who left everything to perform sadhana and is performing nice sadhana. But somehow at the time of death, somehow he got attached to a deer, a baby deer. And at the time of death, he thought of a deer. And the next birth that he got, or the next body that he got, was of a deer. Whereas if this attachment was not there, if he would have thought about Krishna, he would have gone back to the spiritual world. He would have got connected back to Krishna in the spiritual world. But just because at the time of death, he thought about a deer, he got a deer body. And this is the danger that, if we are not prepared for the death, then there is a chance that we may fall back in a lower species, or even we may go even lower and lower and lower, and we will not be able to break this cycle of birth and death very easily. We have to wait for the human form of life again. So this is a danger. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that, whoever leaves his body thinking of me, or, thinking or chanting the names, he will come back to me. So you see, it's very important that we learn how to take the names of Lord, or how to think about Lord when we give up this body. And this will not come like, instantly. We need to practice, just like we need to practice and revise to give an exam. It is only then we can give, we can give proper answers, or we can write properly in the exam. Similarly, we need to practice all throughout our life, and then only in the final examination of the death, we'll be able to think of Krishna. So if we not practice now, then when should we start practicing? Because we don't even know that when is the time going to come for us to actually write the paper. We don't know when the dates of our examinations are. So we need to be prepared immediately. We start our preparation immediately and need to be prepared always. So therefore, we need to take this chanting seriously and start preparing immediately, meaning start chanting immediately as soon as possible. So that's the third reason. Now we'll come to the fourth reason. Now you see, not always, death is the only thing. Some people, we may get a very long life. We may live for long. Not always that, we have to face death at an early stage of life. So we may live for long. So what's the deal? What's the problem then? We can take up any time, isn't it? But then when we say we have a long life, then comes the challenge of old age. Old age comes with long life, and old age has its own package. It comes in its own package. Aches and pains, and because the body is weakening, the body becomes more prone to diseases. You don't even, especially diseases like Alzheimer's, where you just forget everything. You don't even recall, or you don't even remember your family members. So these all diseases can come up when one grows old. You become immobile. Sometimes people become immobile. They're bedridden, and their senses have also weakened. And not only on the physical level, there is these sufferings of old age, but even on the mental level, you see, old age has sufferings, or old age comes with suffering. So generally, you see, you must have seen in your life, or maybe you have heard about this, that, an elderly person sitting in the house and, saying, ऐसे मत करो, वैसे मत करो, इधर नहीं जाना, उधर नहीं जाना, ये नहीं खाना, ये लोग ऐसे ही करते हैं. So you must have seen, or heard people talking like this. And this is very irritating to the family members. You see, family members start thinking that, these elderly people, they are interfering in our life. They are disturbing us. So what generally happens is, because of this old age, they become invalid for their family. The family members are happy to give them respect and honor when they are productive. And not only family members, but also the society in general. No organization wants you to work after the age of 60. Why? Because they know very well you're not going to be that productive after the age of 60. So the point is that old age makes person invalid and unproductive. And therefore, society and the family members, feel that, this old person is a burden, and they don't respect them very well. It's seen, it is very sad, but it is true that so many people, old people, are not respected well. They're thought as if they are burden in the family. And, they feel sad about it. They get depressed. So many old people feel that, they just feel worthless. They just feel depressed, and they just live their life like that only, without any respect and honor. So you see, even on the mental platform or on the psychological platform, there are challenges. There is a lot of suffering over there with old age. And if we think that we need to start chanting at this time, in old age, we think that if we may take up this chanting at this old age, then just think, is it really possible? It is really practical with so much of physical issues involved, mental issues involved. Is it possible to really sit and chant and take up chanting, focus on the Lord? It is really not possible. What do you think? Do you think that it is possible or not possible? Can just anyone just unmute and say yes or no?
No.
No.
It
Yes,
would be
Mataji said no. Okay. So, and it is right that, because we are faced with so much of mental and emotional and physical challenges, it is difficult for us to take the names of Lord at that time. But then I little bit beg to differ and say that yes, it is possible to take the names of Lord at this point as well, provided, this is important, provided that we have been practicing chanting when we are young and when we are hale and healthy. If we have started chanting at an early age, and if we have been practicing chanting, we automatically get attached and attracted and get attached to chanting. So this attraction and attachment, helps us to keep us focused on the chanting when we reach that stage in our life where it is difficult for us to chant. Otherwise it is difficult. If we have not developed that taste, if we have not developed that attachment in the beginning, then it is difficult. We cannot do it. Mataji said no, it's right. If you have not practiced it all throughout your life, no, you will not be able to. But if you have practiced it in your heydays and or in your healthy days, and you have developed an attachment to it, then definitely you will sit and chant. And what will happen if you sit and chant? You see, this chanting, will help you in your old age to overcome that physical and emotional challenges that you have. Physical pain will be there, but definitely you will be motivated to face that challenge. You will not sit and cry for those problems, but you will be motivated to face that problems. And also, when an elderly person, you just imagine an elderly person sitting and chanting in his room all throughout the day, even the family members will feel, sympathize with that person. Bichare kitne na buddha, matlab bichare, grandpa, he is just sitting over there in one room chanting, nothing. He's not even saying anything to me. He's just busy in his own world, just chanting, taking the names of the Lord. Pap, he's suffering from all this. The sympathy will come from the family members also, and the family life also will be peaceful. Family members also will be peaceful. In fact, that this particular elderly person who may, be in his own chanting and doing things may even, not only sympathy, but also gain respect and honor from his family members. So life becomes peaceful, and peacefully we can give up our life thinking about Krishna. So therefore, it is important that we pick up or we start chanting as soon as possible. So we saw 4 reasons. So first was like any favorable, there is no favorable time. Every time there will be some problem. So that's the first reason. The second we saw was it gives us help to, or it gives us strength to face material sufferings. Third we saw was, time is very short. So it kind of, if we start early, we are well prepared for our death, and it also prepares us for our old age if we live long. So those are 4 reasons why we need to take up chanting seriously. Now the question comes, how to take shelter of chanting and how to chant, how to take the shelter of holy names and how to chant the names. So now Prabhupada has actually given us, he's actually told us to chant 16 rounds per day. Now here I would like to kind of just tell you a small incident that happened with me a couple of years ago in very short. I generally have this backache issue. And this time I had a backache issue, and I asked my Prabhuji to, I messaged the name of the medicine and asked him to get that medicine. So my Prabhuji got the medicine. I took first tablet and there was no relief from the back pain. I took the second tablet and there was no relief from the back pain. So I was wondering, every time I take one tablet, 50% relief I get. And why is this? At this time, I'm not getting any relief. So I just went to the packet and I checked it. And I saw it was written Neorelax MR 4 mg. Then I realized that my Prabhuji this time has got Neorelax MR 4 mg. And every time I take Neorelax MR 8 mg. That means the dose that I was taking this time was half of the dose. So you see, the point I'm trying to make here is that Prabhupada is our spiritual doctor. He's our acharya, and he is prescribed, 16 rounds for us. So if we do not chant those 16 rounds, if we don't take the whole dose, proper dose, then definitely we will not get the desired result. And the desired result, by that I mean, we will not be connected to Krishna if we don't do that. So gradually, I know, we have all started taken up chanting right now. And some of you are chanting 4 rounds, 8 rounds, 1 round. But then the point is that we have to gradually build on to this and come to the level of chanting 16 rounds. Now, the second, point is, or the second part of this is that just in case, imagine if my Prabhuji would have got Neorelax 8 mg, but if the tablet or the medicine was expired, will that, will I get the same result, or will I get the same pain relief with an expired medicine? No, not definitely, right? So the medicine has to be within the expiry date. That means not only the quantity, but also the quality matters. So for chanting also, not only the quantity, but the quality of chanting matters. So the quality of chanting means what? Quantity is very easy to define because we know 16 rounds. So that's the quantity. So what is the quality then? So quality of chanting means we are able to chant attentively. And that means that we are able to hear to the holy name that we are chanting. So that is the quality of chanting. Now, hearing to the holy name requires you to focus on the holy name. And that your mind has to do. So all of you who are chanting over here will definitely agree to this point that controlling this mind or focusing this mind and asking this mind to hear to the names of the holy name is so difficult and so challenging, isn't it? Because our mind keeps on wandering here and there and it gets distracted with so many things. So first of all, let us understand that this mind, is with us for so many millions and trillions of birth lives. And it is trained over this particular time to get distracted. It is trained because it's never asked. We have never asked our mind to focus on holy name. Holy name means spiritual thing. So it's always, jumping from one material sense object to other. And now, after so many birth cycles, we're asking the mind to to focus on something that is spiritual, the holy name. So will that mind listen to us? Definitely it will not listen to us, right? And therefore, we need to practice to chant attentively. With practice, it will come. But then we also have some help. Some of our senior Vaishnavas have given some tips, practical tips to how to chant attentively. So I'd like to share a few of them. So it is kind of recommended that, you fix a time for your chanting. Don't chant like, sometimes in the morning, few days on the evening and things like that. No, have a dedicated time. And the dedicated time, most importantly, if you chant early mornings, that's the best time. Why it is best? Because in the mornings, generally everything is very quiet and there are no distractions. And the mode of goodness is also highly prevalent at this time. So it helps us to focus our mind on the holy name. Then the second tip is that, they advise us to sit cross-legged or, sit down and chant. Now, generally, chanting does not, have chanting rules as such. A holy name is so merciful that, it accepts however we chant, wherever we chant, standing, sitting, dancing, jumping in the train or in the bus or running, in whatever way we chant, the Lord accepts it. But then when we have to focus on the holy name, when we have to actually hear what we are chanting, then it is best to sit down cross-legged. If not able to sit cross-legged, then at least on the chair. And there is also a little bit of scientific reason behind it. They say that, when we sit cross-legged, the blood flow to our lower limbs is reduced. And when we do some mental activity doing that, the blood flow to our head or brain increases. So that's how, it helps us to meditate on what we are doing, meditate on that mental activity. So that's the reason why they say that you sit cross-legged or sit down and you chant. Then the next point is, they say that, you kind of hear to the holy name. At least you make it a point to hear to the first name, that is the first syllable, that is Hare. So you try to kind of hear or closely make it a be determined to hear at least Hare, because if you hear Hare, then that Maha Mantra will follow. If you hear Hare, automatically you will hear the rest of the mantra. This is what they have experienced, and they are giving us these tips. So just try to hear Hare first. Make an effort to hear Hare first. So this is again one way to kind of improve quality chanting. Do quality chanting. But the point is that the most important point is that whatever techniques we are using to chant, the basic necessity is that we empty our mind, remove all the material thoughts before we sit to chant. Because if we take, just like for example, if we kind of, go ahead and after a heated discussion or after a heated meeting, you go and sit to chant, definitely you're not going to be chanting, but you'll be thinking about your meeting and the heated argument that you had with your colleague. So definitely, for that reason, we need to kind of empty our material thoughts and fill our mind with Krishna. Means what? This is another tip. Fill our mind with Krishna before we sit to chant. Meaning we can, half an hour or 15-20 minutes hour before we actually sit to chant, we can read, one purport by Prabhupada, or we can hear Prabhupada lecture, some half an hour or maybe even 20 minutes, read to that, or you kind of, sit and you listen to a kirtan. So something that is spiritual, something that is related to Krishna. When you do that, what happens is you fill your mind with Krishna, and then it becomes easy for us or the mind to focus on Krishna, because already we are having Krishna's thoughts. So it becomes easy. And the most important point over here is that we pray before we chant. Pray to the Lord that please allow me to chant nicely. This holy name is you. You are appearing to me when I'm chanting. I want to hear this holy name. I really want to, focus on these names. But I'm not able to because my mind is not letting me do. And this mind is also your energy, your material energy. So I'm not able to control this mind. Please allow me to take your names. Please allow me to chant nicely and feel, grateful to the Lord that he's given you this holy name. I'll come to that point in just 5 minutes. But then, the point is that we pray, because when we pray, that also, makes up our mood to chant. If we go in, like, as I said, after having a heated argument, if we go and we sit and chant, our mood is not of chanting. Our mood is to, do more arguments. But then when we pray and we sit to chant, then our mood is to sit and chant. So that's how we remove all the material thoughts and we fill our mind with Krishna, and then we approach the holy name. So that's those were some practical tips or techniques to have attentive hearing. Just before I end, in the next 5 minutes, I'll tell you 2 most important points, and would humbly request each one of you to really think about this, whatever I speak now, humbly request you to listen carefully and think about it and reflect it even later on. First point is that when we make one small effort to go to Krishna, Krishna takes, or when we take one step to go to Krishna, Krishna takes 10 steps towards us. In meaning, when we try sincerely to chant attentively or to improve our number of rounds, increase our number of rounds, whatever, in whichever way we are making an humble sincere effort to take shelter of holy name and take shelter of Lord, Krishna responds. Meaning, Krishna will help us in our endeavor. This is for sure, because if we take one step, Krishna takes 10 steps. So Krishna will definitely respond and he will help us in our endeavor. It's like something like, you were not able to chant before because maybe, the project you were in was very critical and things like that. And immediately, suddenly you are put into another project where things are better. And then you're able to, focus more on the holy name and on chanting and things like that. Or maybe, you come across a class where you're your child can go and, spend some 1 hour and do some constructive work, and you are also free to do a little bit of chanting. Something will happen. And, that help will come from somewhere or nowhere. And then you'll be able to kind of take up this chanting seriously. This will happen. If you're not able to see such kind of help, that means you're missing on. Either you're not able to appreciate this help, or you're not putting your effort sincerely. That is one of it. It's for you to kind of, judge and make a thing for yourself to think. That's the first point. And the second point, very quickly, I'll say, the second point is that not all, there are so many millions and billions, and not even millions and billions, unlimited and infinite number of jivas or living entities in this material creation. But this holy name is available to all these living entities. Lord is very mercifully given this holy name to everybody, because this holy name is mercy of Lord only. So therefore, Lord is given this particular holy name to everyone. But out of these infinite number of living entities, only few are able to take the names of Lord. And why? Because some of them are very sinful. They're so sinful that they cannot take the name. Some of them are so much into false ego, and they have so much of pride and things like that, that they are completely not able to take the shelter or take the names of the Lord. Or some living entities are in animal body, plant body, where this facility of taking the name is only not available. Okay. So holy name is available to everybody in this material world, all the jivas who are present in this material world, but only few of them can, take the names of the Lord. One example or one particular story is that of a hunter. Narad Muni met this hunter. He used to kill animals, and he used to leave them half dead. And Narad Muni came and he said, why are you taking up this profession? Give up this hunting profession. And somehow Narad Muni, he tried to convince him to give up that profession. So the hunter said, okay, I'll give up hunting. But what am I supposed to do then? If I don't hunt, what am I supposed to do? The Narad Muni said that, you chant the names of the Lord. And he tried to chant the names of the Lord, but he was unable to chant. Why? Because he was a hunter, he had so much of sins that he had done. He was such a sinful person. He was not at all able to chant the names of the Lord. So Narad Muni, being a very merciful Vaishnava, he said, okay, you were in, killing business. So why don't you take the names of death? So he said, you say, you chant Mara. So this hunter started chanting Mara, 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 Mara. And while he started chanting Mara, 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 he started chanting Ram, 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 Ram. And by chanting, this particular hunter, he became a wonderful devotee. He got connected back to Krishna. And so the point that I'm trying to make is that the holy name is available to every living entity, but only few are able to chant. Why? Because Krishna is giving special mercy through his devotees to these individual souls who are able to chant. Mercy is there. Krishna's mercy is there. But Krishna's special mercy is coming through his devotees. In the case of hunter, it was Narad Muni. In case of you and me, it is Srila Prabhupada. I can see Prabhupada behind Prabhuji. I just said Prabhupada and you came up there. So I can see Prabhupada over there behind Prabhuji sitting. So in case of you and me, it is Srila Prabhupada. This mercy, the special mercy of Krishna is coming through Prabhupada. Prabhupada has given us, this special mercy. And that is the reason why you and me are able to take the names of Lord. So if you are even chanting one round, understand you are the one among those fortunate living entities, one among those infinite living entities. You are the fortunate ones to take the names of the Lord. You have received that special mercy from Krishna. So my humble request would be, you kind of ponder on these things and try, to take more and more shelter of holy name by increasing the number of rounds, and also by simultaneously trying to improve on the quality of your rounds. So with that, I think I'll stop and I'll close this session. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna and Dandavat Pranam to all of you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. It was such a enthusiastic enthusiastic, energetic, and like very beautiful presentation, because you presented not only right from your heart, but also from heart and soul. Right,
Thank
with
you.
so much of faith that you have, and why we should chant, how we should chant with urgency, how attentively we should chant, and how we are fortunate to come into the association of devotees. We are very, very grateful to you, and I'm sure all these tips and tricks that you said must be very helpful for all the devotees, all our participants here. Our chanting will not remain same. Now we'll really take shelter once we chant the holy name. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram.
Rama Rama.
So we'll take shelter of each of the names, each of the really the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
So any
Thank
one
you
or
very
two
much.
comments or questions from anybody before we move on to practice of chanting of the holy name? Anybody would like to have any one or two comments?
I can see the comments coming, Prabhuji. So, but anybody wants to comment and give some questions?
Okay, anybody has any questions? So I think definitely Mataji will look forward to your association sometime sooner with
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you
more
for giving me the
topics,
opportunity.
because we're really inspired with your
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
yeah, we're really inspired, Mataji. Thank you very
I
much.
think some Mataji is wanting to say something, Prabhuji.
हरे कृष्णा माता जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
Dandavat pranam, Mataji. Yes,
जी।
Mataji.
प्रभु जी को भी धन्यवाद प्रणाम। बहुत अच्छा लगा। आप हिंदी समझ सकती हैं?
हाँ माताजी, बोलिए हिंदी में।
जी, बहुत अच्छा लगा। आपने जो चैंटिंग का वो रूल बताया, उसे हमें फॉलो करना चाहिए। हमारे अंदर भी बहुत सारी कमियां हैं जो अभी मैं अप्लाई करूंगी। आपने जो कुछ भी कहा, बहुत थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you very much, Mataji. All by the grace of Prabhupada and Gurudev.
वंडरफुल एक्सप्लेन माता जी।
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mataji, I have one question.
Yes,
Thank you
Prabhuji.
very much.
I think one question. I mean, if Prabhuji is okay to take, otherwise we can have it offline.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. So yes,
Thank you.
definitely Mataji is all around with us. If any Mataji or anybody would like to discuss anything with Mataji, they can also reach out to Mataji or through Kuntal Prabhu. Right. Anyway, Mataji is available. If you have any
Yes.
questions or comments to discuss with her.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Thank
So,
you very much.
Mr. Prabhu, we can go ahead for our
Yes.
chanting session. So let's once again thank Mataji by loudly chanting Hari Bol 3 times. Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol,
Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol,
Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Let's move to the breakout room.
Hare Krishna, Shweta's Mataji, which group you belongs to?